Chris, and welcome to this, not necessarily I guess it is sort of a Ben Talks About video, but for those of you who've been through the channel for quite a while now, although the video that I posted was around 2019, was when I posted a video where I talk about the stuff in my room, which was sort of a quote-unquote room tour of just all the various stuff I've collected over the years, and all that stuff. And since then, quite a lot has changed, actually, and I'm not quite sure if I mentioned this during that previous video, but there was a point where I did want to do a sort of update on it, and as you can no doubt see, even from just the stuff behind me right there, yeah, I've gotten a whole lot more stuff since then, and yeah, I think it's appropriate that I, show all of that sort of stuff off. Now, I'm primarily going to be focusing on the stuff that I have on my side of the room because, of course, I share this room with my brother Daniel, who you've seen in a couple of my videos. But we're just going to be focusing on my stuff for right now, at least. I'm not quite sure about perhaps later on. Now, this right here, this area right here is actually the most that has been changed, but I'm going to actually go ahead and start from where we started in the previous video, which is all the way right over there. So let's go ahead and do that. So as you can see right here, there has been quite a few things that have changed. This top area right here is more or less similar, but basically what we've done here is that we've basically moved all of our Godzilla figures that are exclusively of the character Godzilla himself onto this shelf right here. And also, by the way, for those who don't know, I still have that Assassin's Creed 3 poster, which I might replace with like a different sort of poster, because I got that back when I was sort of really trying to get into Assassin's Creed, but I haven't played that much of it. I've only played the two games that I've talked about before, that being Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Assassin's Creed Rogue. So who knows, if I try to get more into the games, then maybe I'll keep it, but it's likely I might change that up with one of the posters I already have here, or I might get a different poster of something else. So yeah, as you can see, actually I'm just going to go ahead and turn off this fan right here, just so that it's not super noisy in this room. As you can see, I still have the Bandai America's Kiryu figure, which, this is definitely a figure that holds a really special place in my heart, for those of you who don't know. It used to be in one of the lower shelves right here, but I went ahead and moved it so that it was basically the sort of, not necessarily centerpiece, but it's the first thing that catches your eye on the top shelf. So, a lot of this stuff right here, as you've seen some of my more recent Godzilla videos, you should be well aware of. These are, of course, all of the NECA Godzilla figures that I have currently in my collection. As you can see, I tried to put them in sort of chronological order in terms of when the film was released. Right here we have the 54 Godzilla, the 94 Godzilla, GMK, Tokyo SOS, and this one right here, which is the NECA figure of Shin Godzilla, which is a review that I believe I have not actually uploaded yet. I actually recorded it during the same day that I recorded this one, but because the video was taking a really long time to upload, I didn't really want to waste too much time waiting for the whole thing to be uploaded. So I'm just going to go on ahead and he will be uploaded later on, but at this current moment I'm not quite sure. For those of you who also want to know, right there on the back there is a tin from this 6 movie pack of the first 6 Gamera movies, although I believe there are some of the films that they're actually missing. I'm not quite sure which ones they are missing at the moment, but me and my mom we're like super into Gamera, and we've been watching a lot of the older movies, which they're fun. They're not necessarily all entirely good, but they're still fun movies. These right here are all of the more older some Bandai America, Bandai Japan figures. There's of course also for those of you who've seen the channel since the beginning or has decided to look at for some of my older videos, this guy right here, which is the Bandai America Final Wars Godzilla, which was actually the very first video review that I created on this channel back when I called these reviews, even though they're not necessarily reviews when I don't even script the videos. These right here are the 3 NECA figures that my brother has at the current moment. There is the 64 Godzilla, 62 Godzilla, and then the 89 9 Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Biollante, which is a really cool looking figure. This is probably, in terms of design, one of my favorite ones, although I still do really like the Tokyo SOS one, but that's mostly because that's my one. Basically, that's my favorite Godzilla design. Also, yeah, there's the Bandai America's translucent Rainbow Mothra, which I actually did a review of a long time ago as well. Not quite sure why we still have him on Tokyo as Godzilla's head, though. Also, in the back there's another tin, which was of the DVD for the original Mothra. There is like this little sleeve that's supposed to go in there that shows the rest of the that's supposed to be the rest of the poster that has all the text and the Twin Fairies there. But yeah, I went ahead and just took that out. But it still looks really, really cool looking. I'm not quite sure why they made Mothra look so threatening, though, on the poster. So if I can just go ahead and get that there, to make sure that doesn't fall. You look at the lower area right here. This is actually changed quite a lot. These are essentially not necessarily all of the board games that we currently have right now, but they used to be all the way in the top shelf right over there. But we went ahead and I just wanted to move that because I wanted them to be in a much easier place because we were trying to get more into them. So yeah, I went ahead and move them all the way over here. Also, just as a sort of disclaimer, of course a disclaimer in the middle of the video, but you know, this isn't scripted by any means. I'm sort of just going at, I'm just sort of winging it, trying to get through all this kind of stuff that I want to show off. Speaking of stuff, if we go over here, this box right here, which my parents actually got at a Hobby Lobby, is actually, not quite sure if I can get this all done in with just one hand, but here it is right here. We open it up, and these are all of the cards that we use for Cards Against Humanity, for which, you know, if you've been on the internet for a while, you probably know what this card game is. So we just have all the cards that we sort of collected over the years. They're not all in the exact same places they were before. Because again, if you just look at it, these parts were both part of just one box, so that's how many cards we've ended up getting throughout the past years. But yeah, it's a really fun game. It's fun to play as long as everyone's in the right mood. So yeah, we got all that stuff right there, and also right here, I'm not quite sure if I actually did an actual review of this guy, but right here is where we have, besides the air freshener right there, we have this is actually the original White Tiger Zord from the second season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which is probably the oldest figure I have in my entire collection, to be perfectly honest. As you can see, it is the original version of it. They have made more recent versions that are part of the Legacy toy line, which has the newer joints that go with the rest of the older Bandai figures, but yeah, this is the original. And of course, as you can no doubt see, it's not necessarily in the greatest of conditions. You can see all the different orbs that are supposed to be attached on his arm and onto his feet are completely gone. There's a lot of paint chipping. There's a lot of complete sticker chipping right here. I definitely would like to fix that. And also, the battery cover is not here, and there are no batteries in it to begin with. So yeah, despite that, I still really love this figure. I feel like I'm of the minority who actually prefers the White Ranger over the Green Ranger, and I personally just like the Tiger Zord a lot more compared to the Dragon Zord. I'm not quite sure what it is about it, probably because he was the first one I actually saw compared to the Green Ranger. But yeah, that's basically everything that's sort of changed right here. And also, this right here is actually something I actually, one of my quote-unquote resolutions that I wrote for myself, which was something that I'd never told about before. But yeah, this right here, it may look barren right now, but this right here is just a simple board game that I actually decided to create. I don't have a title for it, though. I do want to put the title of the game right here, but it's like a sort of standard, like, trivia-style game. Perhaps I'll go ahead and try and make some sort of review out of it. It's a very simple game. It's not necessarily something, like, super complicated. In fact, I'm pretty sure lots of other people have thought of the idea before. Let's go ahead and just move this right here, just out of the way, so we can go to this area right here. Now, there's not too much change right here. These two shelves right here, they were both, I believe they were basically in the same exact position that they were before. But yeah, right here is where we have pretty much all of our Ultraman monsters, as well as the Ultraman main characters right here, as well as, for some reason, Jet Jaguars right here. Not quite sure why that's the case. I think that's because these all have the same sort of problem where they're actually rather difficult to stand up on their own, which is why we have them all hung up against the wall. And also, there's actually an Exilian figure right there. Yeah, this is basically, yeah, this is the, most of our collection. My brother has actually gotten a lot more of the 5-inch scale Ultraman figures, which, are of these guys right here, which he's gotten before. He's much more interested in the Ultraman monsters than I am. But there, you know, I have certain particular ones that I always think look kind of cool. And as you can see right there, we still have the, vinyl figures for, the original Ultraman and Ultraman Max. I would like to eventually get some of the other ones as well. Right here is where we have all of my amiibos in my personal collection. All the other ones are right over there, but we're not going to go ahead and over there right now. Again, yeah, these are all amiibos that I've done unboxing videos for. As you can no doubt see, I've put them all relatively in the order where I got them. And we also have the two, we have Marth and Corrin right there. And then on the back there, not quite sure, but there's the Guardian amiibo from Zelda Breath of the Wild. Speaking of which, there's actually quite a few things that I would eventually want to make a video about concerning some of the video games and announcements that Nintendo has released recently. But yeah, that's a video for another time. We have some of Godzilla's partners and enemies on this shelf right here, and I'm not quite sure why. But Rodan's all the way there in the shadows. Not quite sure how much you could see him, considering he's being covered by King Zedar and DMK King Ghidorah. We got the Final Wars and Gears here, and then we got the Showa one right over there. We got the Bandai America's Destroya and Space Godzilla. I know he's technically a version of Godzilla, but he's not exactly like the character Godzilla, so he wouldn't exactly apply for being part of the shelf right over there. So yeah, we still have him here. And then we also have a bunch of the two forms of Gigan. You got the Showa one and the Final Wars version, which they need to do a version of it that's the modified Gigan with the chainsaw arms, because, you know, the only way you can really get one of those is by getting one of the giant figures, or spending a lot more money to get the SH Monster Arts version of it, which, you know, I feel like is sort of not exactly the most fair. And also we have the Mothras, and this Mothra figure right here, I actually never knew this was actually part of the original Trendmasters line of Godzilla figures back when Godzilla first really started getting more notoriety in the West. So that was actually cool. I wish I had actually known that when I actually quote-unquote reviewed that figure. And of course we still have the Final Wars Mothra still in the this rocking chair figure right here. And also we got this version of Ghidorah right there, which is, I believe, is the Bandai Japan version of him. And then we also got the Bandai America version of the Ghidorah figure, which I actually never knew this, but in the comments of my actual review of this guy, I actually was notified that this was actually not the Final Wars version as I thought. There actually hasn't really been a Final Wars figure in that scale of Final Wars Ghidorah, which is actually kind of surprising. You'd think they would make something like that. But I suppose, you know, there's not really that much material for him to work with, considering how little there is of him in the film. We're going to go ahead and move this whiteboard right here, and we go to this shelf area right here. Right here we have all of my Gundam model kits. As you can no doubt see, I've definitely gotten quite a lot more compared to the last time I made a video on them. But yeah, I've actually collected quite a lot of them. I'm not necessarily looking to collect all of the ones I can find. I'm very particular when I try and see when I see a Gundam that I really enjoy. One thing that I do eventually want to do is that, I'm not quite sure if I said this in the previous video, but I want to start trying to sort of getting getting more into what's called kit bashing, which is essentially taking some of these figures, combining them all to make a completely new one. I would like to do that, but at the same time, I do like the way some of these look. And it has like seeing all like quote unquote perfect in a row like this. It has a certain appeal to it, but I'm probably going to change it up eventually. We also got these ones all right here. These are all of the more or less the Gundams that are not actually Gundams, but are different model suit varieties. This guy in particular actually got really recently. This was the special version of the Zaku, who was from Gundam Ace MS Team, which was a really great. I think I've said this before, but I think that's a really, really good season of Gundam. We also got the 3 Master Grade figures that I have. I basically showed off all 3 of them right there, and then there's also a there's this plush, not necessarily plush, but he's a little figure of BB-8 from the Star Wars sequel series, which is another thing that I would like to make videos on. We also got these two Nerf guns right here. One of them, this huge one right here, is for me, and the other one right here is for Daniel. I would say that I got my money's worth, but this gun right here tends to jam quite a bit, and the bullets don't always go in the right way. Right under here, again, ignore the cleaning supplies right here. Right here is a sort of quote-unquote junk drawer of various items, most of them retaining belonging to Power Rangers. This thing right here, actually, let me go ahead and get a light right here. We got this right here. This thing right here is actually a sort of a gift box, I guess you could call it, that was themed around My Hero Academia. They have other ones of those, but I haven't exactly been trying to get them. Those right there just have a bunch of like earphones and all that in there. And in the box right below that is where I keep all the spare parts for all of the other Gundam kits. Right over here is where we get into the more interesting stuff. This right here is just a cardboard makeshift shelf that people can use. Sorry about that. But yeah, this was really easy to assemble, and basically I have all of my quote-unquote work supplies in here, and also right here is where I keep all of my electronic stuff right here. I have my 2DS there, my old DS Lite, along with the containers of all the Game Boy Advance games that I have, which these right here right here are things I've actually had for quite the longest time now. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've actually kept these longer than I kept some of my other stuff that I've shown off. But yeah, I love the Game Boy Advance. It was one of my. It had a very great library of games. Right here's where, yeah, all the rest of it, all sorts of like supplies for like my phone with like screen protectors and all that. This right here, I'm not quite sure if I showed this off before, but this has all of my tools for all my model kit building and all that stuff. And right here is where I have I have the spare manuals for all of the model kits that I have. And actually, if I go to the side right here, I just went ahead and stuck on a couple of Tokyo Ghoul stickers, which I actually got for Christmas from last year, which I actually realized I haven't actually made a Christmas haul video in quite a long time, so I definitely got to remember to do one this year. Right here is something I definitely didn't show off because it was all the way tucked over on the top of the shelf, but this is just a toy version of the Intercontinental Championship, which they used before they eventually redesigned it. This is my favorite design for it, by the way. The newer ones aren't necessarily bad, but this is just one that has the most nostalgic memory for me. And then right above that is where I keep my trash can, which has doesn't have too much in it. It just has an older Gundam kit box right there, which is actually of that guy right there that I actually showed off. Excuse me. But yeah, I basically have that right here so that I'm able to get to it rather quickly. And I guess we may as well get to the, I guess you could say, coup de grace of my the amount of change that I've gotten right here, which is this behemoth of a desk that I have right here. Let me see if the glare will actually go away if I, yeah, that's much better. But yeah, this has definitely changed the absolute most out of all the stuff that I've gotten. My original desk used to be just a corner desk that was all the way over there, and it definitely took up a lot less space, but everything was very, very cluttered, and I just eventually got to the point where if I was going to take my stuff more seriously, I needed a nicer workspace, I guess you could say. So I went ahead and bought this right here, and I also bought this whiteboard right here. So I now call this my writer's alley, which I actually haven't talked about before, but I've been interested in writing for quite a number of years now. I'm still trying to get better at focusing on it because I'm still I still do have a very hard time on like prioritizing it. But yeah, this is sort of the start that I've actually had since I believe last year is when I actually first got this. But I actually this is what pretty much made me want to make another sort of haul video, or not necessarily a haul, but a room tour sort of video. This is what I've been wanting to do. As you can see, I've got just this little calendar right here and this giant calendar right here, which I actually need to, there are quite a few things I need to write down on both of these. On it, you can see all the different, my quote-unquote writing schedule for it. You can see a couple sticky notes of certain things that I usually try to tell to myself in order to like be more like interested in the writing that I'm doing. Right here is sort of cluttered, but I am eventually going to get it more cleaned up soon. As it, also, you can just ignore the colors of that neon green lava lamp, which actually looks really, really cool. As you can see, I actually have quite a lot of stuff. Here's all of my facial supplies right here, all that kind of stuff. That's not really too interesting, but I also got this mirror right here. I also have my Gatorade right here, not sponsored by the way. I just really enjoy drinking it as opposed to drinking water. This right here is actually a small little book that sort of tries to teach you how to speak German, which is actually, I sort of got this because I've been vaguely interested in learning like what it's like to or like seeing what it's like to try to learn another language. I haven't really done that much in terms of reading it, but it is something I want to do in the future. This right here is a huge group of gemstones which I use the sort of I just like the sort of aesthetic for it. And also we got this one right here, which is actually being held by this glass hand right here. And also right here is a picture of Krona from Soul Eater, which is a series that I believe I haven't talked about on this channel before, but I really did enjoy that series. I really wish the series went on for a little bit longer. After that, we also got this right here, which is actually really cool. You just open it up right like this, and right here is a replica Ocarina of Time from, of course, the Zelda franchise, which is actually a usable one. It actually came with a lot of music sheets that sort of teach you where you have to put like your fingers in certain places to actually play the songs. So yeah, I actually got that as my birthday present this year, which was really cool. I've been trying to learn, I've been trying to take like smaller steps to actually learn to play the songs, but I feel like I'm sort of getting better at it. Right here, I don't know why I have this right here, but this is a red PS4 controller. I'm not quite sure why I have it with me here, so we'll just put that to the side. I've also gotten a whole lot more PS4 games since I made that one video on it. In fact, I could probably do a quote-unquote sort of collection video on my PS4 games, but that's a video for another time. This right here is a calendar slash sticky notes slash to-do list themed around Animal Crossing, which is actually looks really cute. I still need to get more used into actually using them. And if we look upwards right here, we have 3 Full Metal Alchemist posters, which are, I believe they were from Hot Topic. As you can see right here, this one is like one of like the sort of like screenshots they would have before they would like cut between like the middle half of the episode. We got this one right here of Edward using his automail arm trying to get the Philosopher's Stone right there with his thumb broken off, which is rather concerning. Speaking of which, I actually have these 3 Full Metal Alchemist figures right here, which are pretty cool. But you know, there are figures that are much more like a detailed sort of quality. We also got this poster right here, which has all of the main characters. This series right here was actually really good. I gotta make a video on that eventually, because in terms of like animes that I really enjoyed, that's definitely up there as one of my favorites. We also got these 2 Funko Pops right here, which are also both based around Soul Eater. I'm not huge into Funko Pop collecting, but if I do see a figure that like I really enjoyed, I'll go ahead and grab it. So I eventually got to get another one to complete the trio. And then after that, we also got this poster right here, which is just a Vocaloid Hatsune Miku poster. I've actually had this for quite a while too, but I'm not quite sure if I acknowledged it during my first room tour video. So I believe the last thing I gotta talk about is this huge behemoth of a manga shelf slash bookshelf right here. And I guess at the very top is okay to sort of start. Not quite sure how well you could see that, but these figures right here are, the first thing I have is actually this figure of L from Death Note, which I eventually want to get more figures of that are the same sort of scale as this guy. We also got the 2 My Hero Academia figures right there. We also got this huge Yu-Gi-Oh poster board right there, which is actually one of those little sheets where you can actually duel on them. They'll actually, if you look at it, you'll actually be able to see like the different like areas where you put the cards. Which I actually have a lot of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards stored all the way in those white boxes right there on top of the closet, but I only really have just one arm to work with right here. Right over here we actually have a few more Godzilla figures, which are actually part of the Movie Monster series of figures, which is a line that's essentially a reissue of some of the older figures that they did. Right here we have this figure of Mothra's larva form, which I believe is supposed to be the one from the 92 Godzilla vs. Mothra, because if you look at the tag right here, there's actually one of the shots from that movie. And over here is actually one of my personal favorite figures I have in my collection, which is the reissued version of the Heisei Mogira, which I've always wanted a Mogira figure, but I've never been able to actually find one. So the fact that I got this one right here is actually really cool. But that's not really what you want to really see. As the first thing that you actually want to see is all of the manga that I currently have right now, as well as a few other miscellaneous stuff at the bottom shelf right there. As you can no doubt tell right here, I went ahead and got myself the entire series of Attack on Titan manga, except for, I do have volume 16. We're supposed to go right between here, but I'm currently reading it, so I don't have it currently on the shelf with me. But yeah, I've gone all the way up from the first volume all the way to volume 33, which I thought was supposed to be the end of the series, but apparently there's going to be a 34th one that's going to be released later on in the year. So, you know, I thought I was going to be done with this series, but now there's still one more that's going to go right here. And as you can see, I went ahead and dedicated the entire top shelf to nothing but Attack on Titan, because it would feel sort of weird if, say, I had another series that started with the letter A that would come like right here, and then the first volume of Attack on Titan is like right over here, then these next few volumes would be on this bottom shelf here, and that would just absolutely drive me crazy. So, yeah. Aside from the top shelf right there being devoted to Attack on Titan, which I want to get a few figures of to sort of make it feel more appropriate as a sort of area to dedicate for it. Aside from that, I go ahead and just, the only thing I really do when in terms of placing my manga in certain areas is I have them all in alphabetical order. I don't really necessarily worry about size, or like right here, you know, you see the size differences right here. You know, it's very noticeable, but that's not necessarily something that I'm prioritizing. Because, you know, I look at collection videos of other people who collect a lot of manga, and they have a lot more steps in terms of, like, how they prioritize organizing them, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, I may as well just go ahead and go over the ones that I do. These right here, not quite sure if you can see that super well, but these are 3 volumes of a sort of Alice in Wonderland themed manga series, which I actually haven't started reading. I actually got this as a hand-me-down from one of my friends at work, which, if you're watching this, I'm not quite sure if you are, but if you are, thank you for that. We have the first volume of Berserk right here, which is something I do want to get more of. We also got some more gift mangas, which are the manga of Big Hero 6. I'm surprised this series even had a manga series to begin with, which is kind of odd. You never really see manga based on, you know, American properties, as far as I'm aware. We also got another one right here, which is the Black Cat manga, which is a series that I do want to get more of, but I got eventually find the third manga volume for it, because right here there's only 1, 2, 4, and 5. We also got, this is actually quite a bit more of an update of than the previous video room tour that I did, because originally I had only the first volume right here of Black Clover, but I read the first volume fully. I really enjoyed it, so I went ahead and got the next few volumes, and I'm up to, I'm not quite sure if you can see that, but I'm up to volume 7, which for some reason, whenever I go to Books A Million or Barnes & Noble, you know, to get these, they always have the later volumes of a manga, but they don't have the exact one that you need. If you ever suffer through that as well, or have that sort of issue, let me know in the comments section down below. But yeah, Black Clover is definitely a series that I really enjoyed, so far. I've seen a few episodes of the later seasons of the anime, because it's currently what's on Toonami. So, what I have seen of it, I really enjoy, but it's only a matter of me actually finding volume 8. Right here is the first volume of the manga cells I work with, which not only does the size a huge distraction, but of course this one jets out compared to all the other ones. But yeah, this series right here is one that I've actually been curious about for a while now. The series has been out for quite a long time, and I just now started seeing these sort of pop up at bookstores, so I went ahead and got that, which is a series that I definitely want to start collecting more of, since I already finished, since I've completed all that I can of the Attack on Titan series. We also got, this hasn't changed since the last time, the first 6 volumes of the Death Note manga, which they never actually have at the bookstores. Let me just go ahead and put that right there. Yeah, they never have the later volumes of Death Note. They only ever have the first volume, or they have the huge black covers of the series, which, you know, which would be cool to have, but I already have these ones, so it would look, sorry if the camera was tilted there, but, you know, it would stick out a whole bunch on my shelf. You know, I like consistency with certain mangas. I like some consistency, but other than that, yeah. Right here we got a newer series, which I wasn't necessarily interested in, but it looked sort of interesting when I looked at the cover for it. This is called Dungeon Builder, the Demon King's Labyrinth. is a modern city, which I believe is actually was originally a light novel. I'm not quite sure if that is the case though. Probably should have done sort of some more research on it before I actually went ahead and decided to do this video. But of course, I never script anything, even though I've tried to do before in the past. But yeah, this series is actually is sort of interesting. It's one that I definitely would want to collect more volumes for. And speaking of Fullmetal Alchemist, along with the figures that I have right over there, I also have 2 volumes of the 3-in-1 mangas that they have. Right here we have the volumes 1, 2, and 3 right here, and then we also have the volumes for 4, 5, and 6 right there. But yeah, these type of ones that I actually think are actually rather convenient, because they're ones that don't necessarily take up too much space. They're still like the overall size of an actual manga, so it's not necessarily something that sticks out way too much. I mean, it is a lot more wider compared to these ones right here, but I still think that it's a rather cool convenience that they have 3 volumes into one major thing. And again, Fullmetal Alchemist has been one of my favorite series that I've seen in quite a while, and I want to get the rest of these right here. I'm not quite sure how many more they have made of it, but I do want to start collecting more of them. We also got another new manga series right here. This is the series Fire Force, which I actually have I actually have 4 volumes right here, and I believe there's actually I do have volume 5 somewhere. But yeah, this series has actually been really good as well. Same with Black Clover, where I've actually seen a few of the later episodes of the series when it was on Toonami. But that series I do want to get a whole lot more of. Ones that I can actually sort of count on actually finding the volume that I need for. This one right here is actually quite up there. But yeah, that series I really enjoy. I want to make a video about those eventually. We also got 2 volumes of the series Haikyuu, which is also a series that I've sort of been kind of curious about, because I'm not really into sports-related stories, but what I've read of this right here, which is being the more so the first volume than both of them. This series is one series that I do want to eventually get into, because I've heard a lot of positive things about it. Right here is the first 3 volumes of the original Hunter manga, which is a series that I would like to get more of, but again, they always have the later volumes of it. And I do more or less know the story, at least the storyline of like the first half of the season, when they're doing like all the Hunter exam stuff, which is, in my opinion, is the best part of the entire series in terms of like what I've seen. I just really enjoyed that part of the series. It was a lot more simpler back then. We also got the first volume of the hardcover version of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure manga. Me and my mom actually went ahead and made a talking video where we actually talked about the first 4 seasons of it, which is which was really fun to do. I still got to watch season 5 of that series, and also they're making a anime version of part 6, which is really cool. Right here is another update from the last video, from the previous room tour video. Originally I only had the first volume of the Nichijou manga, but I actually increased that up to 5, which is a series that I do also want to get the final 5 volumes for, because there's only 10 of them, but I've only ever been able to find up to volume 5. Because, you know, hunting for manga is something that apparently they want to make super frustrating. But yeah, this series, for those of you who don't know, is really, really funny. It's basically a sort of slice of life series that is where each chapter is focused on like a different main character, which, you know, is really funny. You know, as a person whose attention span is not necessarily the highest, the fact that, you know, a lot of the segments are very fast-paced, and also the humor on it is just really, really funny and over the top, and that's what most people like about it. Right here is a series that I definitely want to talk about eventually. This is the first 5 volumes of the series, Reincarnated as a Sword, which I know for a fact it was originally a light novel that was turned into a manga, which never ever got an anime series, which I think that if they made one, that would actually be really, really cool, because from what I read of these, which is, I've actually read a whole lot more of, I actually really, really enjoyed this series. So yeah, I want to get more of these once they start getting more that are translated into English, and I eventually got to make a video on these. Just for the record, I gotta make a video eventually about all these different series, but I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna make it in the same format that I used to, where I talk about each volume individually, because that would be a much larger task than just making a video talking about the series as a whole. So yeah, only time will really tell. Right here I have the first volume of Rurouni Kenshin, which I did show off in the previous video, the previous room tour video, which I would like to get more of, but I kind of already know what already happens in the story, so it's kind of difficult for me to get more of a manga where I already know the story, more of the story of what's going to happen later on in the story. With a couple exceptions to that, like I knew what was going to happen during the first 2 seasons of Attack on Titan, but I still have the rest of the series right there. But yeah, it's kind of hard to really warrant collecting more when you already know the story of it. Here's another new series right here, which is called Skeleton Knight in Another World, which is a sort of isekai series, similar to stuff like Log Horizon or Shield Hero, but of course the main character is Mr. Skeleton Knight right here, which is a series that I want to get more volumes of, but again, as you all know, the bookstores, of course, never have the volumes that you need. Right here is actually the only light novel I have in my entire collection, which is the first volume of Sword Art Online, which I do want to get more of, because I'm of the minority that actually thinks that Sword Art Online is not necessarily as bad as people say it is. It's not necessarily good, and there are way better isekai series that you could go ahead and watch, but I still think that it's not as bad as people say it is. Speaking of Sword Art Online, here's the first volume of the Phantom Bullet arc from the series that I have that I saw. I actually believe I saw the second season before I even saw the first one, because the second half of the series was also on Toonami, and I just so because of that, it's probably why I find this part like I really enjoyed this part of the series. Although I have heard lots of people say that the second half of the second series is inferior compared to the first, but I can't exactly quote you on that. Right here, I got more volumes of that time I got reincarnated as a slime. So yeah, I've actually really enjoyed this series a whole lot, which I eventually want to see the anime adaptation of, and I know for a fact that I can rely on getting more volumes of this series at bookstores. And we also got the more or less the first season of the Tokyo Ghoul manga, in terms of where I am in terms of like where the anime cuts off, which is, you know, a series that I really enjoyed, so I decided that I should show my respect for it by collecting the manga. But yeah, we also got the final manga that I have in my collection, which is the first volume of Yu Yu Hakusho, which I actually got, I actually didn't get at a bookstore. I got this at a different store that sold like vintage figures and manga and books and all that kind of stuff. It was primarily more comic book based than manga based. But yeah, I saw this, and I've really been curious about this series for quite a while now, but I can never actually find it. So I went ahead and got the first volume, so probably going to have to rely on getting more of those online. But yeah, that's all of the manga that I have at the current moment. Right here we have a box set of the first season of Ultraman, which is a series that I need to get more, which is a series that I need to actually finish so I can make a video on it eventually. Right here is this actually may be a bit concerning, but this right here is a replica Death Note, which is another present that I got on Christmas, which, you know, doesn't have any names written on it currently, but you know the sort of drill when it comes to this kind of stuff. It has the first few notes of it are all like the rules for it and all that kind of stuff. Whether or not I'll get more use out of it, only time will tell, but hopefully I won't have to be too concerned about that. Right here is a couple of the book adaptations of the Resident Evil series, which I got, which I believe were also a Christmas present. This was back when I was trying to get more into Resident Evil, but it is kind of hard for me to get into actual books compared to stuff like manga, because my attention span isn't that big without having some sort of a visual on it. But yeah, there's those. We also got a few of Nintendo Switch games in my personal collection. Some of them I actually made reviews of. And then we just got a whole bunch of Blu-rays for animes and movies and all that stuff, as well as this huge box set of the complete series of Steven Universe, which is a series I desperately want to make a video about so badly. You know, that series was really is one that I can recommend to almost anyone. But yeah, I want to eventually finish the entire series before getting more into it. And all this bottom stuff right here is just extra spare board games, as well as the cases that I use for all of my 360 games and Blu-rays right here. Again, like usual, the lighting on this area is not necessarily the best, but you know, you get the sort of drill. So yeah, overall, I really enjoy all the different changes that have been going on in this, and I'm not quite sure how long this video has gone on for, honestly. So yeah, that's basically been my quote-unquote room tour right here. There is a lot of stuff that I haven't gone over, which I could definitely make a different video on, but I feel like this has gone long enough. The point is, I'm really happy with all the different changes and improvements that I've done with my room, well, me and my brother's room, over the past year that I've been here. And of course, I'm always constantly trying to find ways to improve, and as you can note, see by how much clutter there is over on my desk, I still have quite a long way to go before I'm actually good at it. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this sort of sudden video that I just felt the urge to make. Again, I hope you all enjoyed, and until I see you all next time, I'm Ben Contreras, and bye.